I thought we could start first with just an energy building exercise, और उसके बाद then we'll get into the 10 minutes of toxic culture. Does this sound good? Okay. I was going to bid a 5,000 rupee note, but जहान ने कहा 1,000 का करूँ, so 5,000 का करूँ या 1,000 का करूँ? 100 dollars मेरी जेब में नहीं है, so अच्छा, we can settle this online financially, कोई मसला नहीं है. I'm going to start bidding this. I only have like a minute for this exercise. Everyone knows how bidding works? In the background, you can hear me? I'm going to bid this 5,000 rupee note. असल है, आप में से कोई check करना चाहे तो. Okay. The only catch is that the person who bids has to stand up, and the person who bids next has to stand up, so the highest bidder and the second highest bidder will both end up paying me. Fair enough? Okay. Do I have bid the first bid? 5,000 rupees. Are you serious? No, he just bid 5,001. Let's start a little lower. Like, anyone? नहीं 5,000 की bid आ चुकी है. Let's start with 1,000 at least. Let's say the first bid is 1,000. Anyone willing to give me 1,000 rupees for 5,000 rupee note? मैं कोई trick नहीं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. Just gonna have some fun. I see a lot of faces looking at me like, क्या कर रहा है ये? क्यों कर रहा है? 1,000 rupees from Jahan. Jahan, you need to keep standing though. You've placed a bid. Anyone willing to give me more than 1,000 rupees? 2,000 rupees from the gentleman there. Anyone willing to give me more than 2,000 rupees? Please stand up. कितना? 25. Jahan, you may please sit. You're no longer the second highest bidder. Anyone willing to give me more than 2,500 rupees? Yes, sir. Sorry? Let's just say हम 500 की increment पे रहेंगे, so 3,000. 2,999. Okay. You need to keep standing. Sorry. आप बैठ सकते हैं. अच्छा, so मैं तो ऊपर चला गया हूँ. Anyone willing to bid more than? जी, sorry. How much? 3,000. So we have 3,000. Sir, आप please बैठ जाएं, and 2,000 there. Anyone willing to bid more than 3,000 rupees? Sir, you need to keep. जी. 4,500. 4,500 and 3,000. Anyone willing to bid more than 4,500 rupees? Yes, ma'am. 5,000 rupees. Oh, sir, you need to keep standing. Anyone willing to bid more than 5,000 rupees? What about you two? You're about to lose 4,500 rupees without getting. She's just at cost. Sorry, I can't hear you. नहीं कोई cap नहीं है. Sorry? Wow. We have 5,000. You need to keep standing. 51. Yes, Masood. Seriously, you're getting into the game. 10,000 rupees. Time's up. You want to have this? I'll take my 10K. No, seriously, man. By the way, this is just a please betting. There are professors in the US who have gone around doing consulting and made a ton of money. Right now, I've made 15,000 rupees, which we'll just settle after this. 10,000 rupees. It's a lesson in sunk cost, which is not about today's talk, but Google that. And with that, my timer has started. Can I have the first slide, please? Is the slide up somewhere? Timer शुरू कर दिया, slide नहीं दी. Not fair. अच्छा, by the way, while they bring up the slides, मुझे आप लोगों से एक सवाल करना है. And all I ask for is an honest answer. Can I have that? You think? यार लाहौर क्या हो गया? एक भी हाथ ऊपर नहीं जा रहा. Okay. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning, feel like, yaar, I can't wait to get to work. मजा आएगा. Monday morning है. Please stand up. Honest answer. If your bosses are around, you're standing for them, ये game नहीं on. Okay. Have a look around. Please have a seat. Thank you. 15,000 रुपए. I was not expecting that. What went wrong? We can talk about that while we wait for the slides, right? Acha, generally, so I will talk about this while we wait for slides. This is what happens when we buy a car and हम उसमें पैसे लगाते हैं कि इसको फिक्स कर लें, फिर हमें होता है अच्छा हमने इस पे इतने पैसे लगा दिए हैं तो अब इस पे और पैसे लगा देते हैं, and you end up losing and losing and losing. And in general, what I did do with you guys was I put you under time pressure. I said 1 minute. A lot of times, for a lot of such opportunities, sales, etc., watch out when people say कि जी बस इतना सा time है ये तो opportunity अभी अभी चली जाएगी, right? But with that, let's come back to. I have my slides, right? Can I go to the first slide? I'm already done with. Next slide, please. Okay. I'm going to share a friend story. So I have a friend, Stanford grad, MBA, runs a tech company in the US. And how many of you are UX people, designers, etc.? So he was giving feedback to one of his stellar UX designers, and feedback dete dete he got upset. He's like, I don't want any one of your ideas, just please do as I'm saying. Okay. That was done. 2 months later, she resigned. And he found out that it was that episode that actually seeded the thought for her to move on. But by then it was too late. Okay? He's not the only one who messes up. I mess up too, and rather frequently. And I will be very vulnerable and share my story with you. Recently, I met someone and made an offer to hire him. And this someone is going to report to a partner at our company. Right? And when the partner found out, he was upset. But because we have a system in place, which I'm going to tell you about today, eventually we fixed it. मैंने गलत किया था, मतलब if I'm going to hire someone who's reporting to someone else, that person should actually be the person interviewing that person, right? काम तो उसने करना. So that's the mistake I made. But my partner said, "नौकरी की तो नखरा की Mannan. It's all good." And that had a huge impact on me, right? So, next slide. I'm sure you've all heard of this saying, culture eats strategy for breakfast. पहली दफा सुन रहे हैं? Okay, great. So, we can't have this sort of a culture. Like, अगर नौकरी की तो नखरा की का मतलब है कि people at Tintash would just end up doing the bare minimum required, कि job के लिए required है. That will not allow for the sort of 10x growth, doubling every year kind of growth that we've seen. So I was like, यार, ये नहीं चल सकता, right? And this is a bad culture. ये मैं bad culture की बात कर रहा हूँ. Next slide. I'm a huge follower of, fan of Adam Grant, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what I can tell you is that a toxic culture just is the ultimate assassin of high engagement. And by the way, toxic culture is 10 times more likely to contribute to attrition than compensation. Let that sink in. Like a lot of times we think that for employees or for people working, it's all about just the salary. It's not. 10 गुना ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ता है. Which brings us to the question that I asked you at the start of this, right? That is the problem. I'm going to show you just one slide as to how we solve the problem. But मैंने आपसे शुरू में जो सवाल किया था, that is actually my culture test, right? We wanted to build a company where, just like in undergrad, I used to wake up, I couldn't wait to get to Lums. I'm from Lums. मज़ा आएगा, दोस्तों के साथ hang out करेंगे. हाँ, classes वगैरह सब कुछ होता था. I think that's the sort of culture we should have at work. And for companies that are really going to grow, that's the only way to go. Is this working? Yeah? Okay. नहीं, पीछे ही रहे, sorry. So if you wake up in the morning and you feel like, यार, नहीं दिल चाह रहा, बंदे की शक्ल नहीं पसंद, या कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ हो रही है, and that's what we need to fix. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to break this down for you, कि toxic culture क्या, कैसे इसको इसमें आप देख सकते हैं, and then we can talk about how to fix it, right? This is true for people, C-suite level people. This is true for anyone who manages a team. This is also true for anyone who's not managing anyone at all and is just an individual contributor, because eventually you're going to grow there, or you need to manage your boss also, right? Okay, next slide, please. अच्छा ये अब थोड़ी सी भारी स्लाइड है, सो बेयर विद मी. थोड़ी सी क्रेडिबिलिटी बिल्ड कर लेता हूँ पहले इसकी. So I was very lucky to go to Stanford for my master's, and luckier to have Bob Sutton as an advisor, who's like this huge organizational behavior guru. If you've heard of McKinsey, etc., he trains their executives also. He recommends 100 books for all business people. The number one book is this one, Progress Principle. And it talks about employee engagement. And these are my key lessons from that book, right? So the authors talk about the concept of an inner work life. And what she says is that all the work that you see people doing, the meetings they go to, the emails they write, the code they write, the presentations they give, etc., that is just the tip of the iceberg. और आपको पता है कि tip of the iceberg is 1/10 of what you don't see, like what's underwater, right? What she says is that the underwater part is sort of like our inner work life. Inner work life are the thoughts, the emotions, the motivations with which you come to work. And जब आप कोई टॉक्सिन एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं, मैं टॉक्सिक पर्सन की बात नहीं कर रहा, लाइक जो टॉक्सिन्स इंसान दे देता है, क्लमजीली भी दे देता है, इंटेंशनली हमेशा ना हो. So I want to put this vocabulary out there, right? So what is a toxin? A toxin is an act of interpersonal conflict. It can include disrespect, discouragement, disregard for emotions. And when you experience this, so the stronger a toxin you've experienced, you may be sitting in that meeting, but mentally you're just waiting कि यार कब 6 बजे मैं निकलूँ यहाँ से, right? Mentally, like that lady, जो मैंने UX का शुरू में example दिया था, you start thinking यार I need to move on, I need to join another company, right? Engagement भी जाती है, you're in that company. इसका बरअक्स nourisher होता है. So it's the right pat on the back, it's the right respect, it's coming from someone where you start thinking कि I see a lot of faces going into deep thinking now. Just stay with me. Where you can't stop thinking about work. Whether you're working from home or working remote, working from the office, you can't stop thinking about it. 6 बजे का तो सवाल ही नहीं रहेगा. You might go home late. You will be thinking about work while driving back home, etc. So that's the sort of culture we want to build. So for an ideal company, you just need to dial down for toxins and dial up for nourishers, right? This is how normally human beings work. Ideally, you should be able to do this in a very nudge manner and not explicitly have to talk about things, but having the vocabulary still helps. Time come hai, I'll come to inhibitors and bata deta hu. Toxins and nourishers are people related. Inhibitors and catalysts are policy related, right? So company ने कहा जी ये काम करने में अगर आपको internet access नहीं दी and आप ऑफिस में बैठे हैं 6 घंटे इंटरनेट नहीं आया या लैपटॉप नहीं मिला and you're held accountable for कि काम क्यों नहीं हुआ. That's a huge inhibitor, right? आपकी चेयर सही नहीं है, it's hurting your back, that's an inhibitor. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so ये आप लोगों के माइंड में शायद कुछ ट्यून आएगी, कुछ टूथपेस्ट भी याद आएगी. Brush your teeth twice a day, every day. Do a check-in once a week, every week. What is a check-in? For all the people who report to you or whoever you report to, have a one-on-one, 15 minute ka chahe, every week, and establish this concept of talking about what toxins or nourishers you've experienced. That वो conversation जब शुरू हो जाती है तो then it's वो जो आप emotional load एक लेके फिर रहे होते हैं, once you talk about things, a lot of times people don't mean to give you toxins, accidentally हो जाते हैं, clumsily हो जाते हैं. I can tell you, I have given toxins to people, intentional कभी नहीं था. Since we've started using this language, I at least go to a meeting and say, yeah, I don't mean for this to be a toxin. Like, you have to do this. Human relationships are messy, so you have to use some language, have some system of doing this. What we did at Tintash, so we've built a platform that I'll tell you about, and we leveraged that for this. All I did was, हमारे पास recorded थे कितने toxins किसने experience किए, किस बंदे ने दिए, right? Tag था. So all we did was कुछ शेयर नहीं किया, सिर्फ शेयर किया कि हमारी कंपनी में एवरेज टॉक्सिन काउंट ये है, X है, और हर बंदे के साथ शेयर कर दिया आपका टॉक्सिन काउंट Y है. Now for everyone whose Y is greater than X, that's a nudge, and I saw that change coming in. So that's really, इस तरह की simple सी interception जो है, that also really works wonders. Next slide, please. Now, why does all of this work? मैंने बड़ी simple सी बात की है. I'm talking about toxins, nourishers, inhibitors. For the CEOs or the top people sitting in this room? Anyone? Okay. Would you be curious कि what are the top 10 inhibitors for your company? Things that are holding back? Would you be curious कि यार हमारी company में सबसे ज़्यादा toxins देने वाला बंदा कौन सा है? Not to let go of that person. Remember this, please. It's about helping them become their best version too. But we need that, right? Why this works is, अब दुनिया उस तरफ जा रही है कि there's actually space for emotions at work. ये नहीं होता कि professionalism. To speed this up, human relationships are messy. You need a way, perhaps a safe space to structure inner work-life conversations. And this helps each person untangle and iron out issues with others and the environment. And up shameless plug, we've built a platform that does this. Next slide, which I welcome you all to check out. Thank you so much.